What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm your host Mike, and today I'm going to break down players to hold, add, and drop for this coming week. Remember guys, if you enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and before we get into this video, make sure you take a second to listen to our video sponsor. Introducing the new sponsor to our channel, we're talking about a brand new daily fantasy props app, Thrive Fantasy. Use code FP100 and receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 and 2 free $20 contest tickets. The first player to add for this video is Gregor of the San Jose Sharks. Now, it's important to note that Gregor is super low owned across both leagues, meaning he's likely available in deeper leagues. I know we've had some comments recently on the video saying to incorporate some players, but I do still think he's an add in 12-team leagues. Gregor's points are definitely deceiving for how good he's actually been. He has just 6 points in 23 games, but recently he's been trending upwards. He's at a crazy low shooting percentage, just 1.4%, but has a crazy high shot volume at 11.7 shots per 60, ranking him top 20 in the league for forwards. His recent promotion to the second line and the second power play unit is definitely indicative of his play. He's been playing over 16 minutes in 3 of his last 5 games. I think the goals are bound to come for Gregor with just 1 goal and 70 shots. He's one of the most unlucky players in the league right now. He has 46 hits in 23 games, 2 hits per game. It's pretty solid. Not good enough for bangers leagues, but in leagues that incorporate hits, shots, and other offensive points, he's definitely worth a look to add for this coming week. The next must-add player for this week is Oliver Wahlstrom of the New York Islanders. Wahlstrom's a young stud in the league. It honestly caught me by surprise when I looked up his age and saw he was only 21. He's off to a pretty decent start, 15 points in 28 games, while playing just 13 minutes per night. He has one of the highest shot volumes in the league at 12.2 shots per 60, ranking him 13th amongst eligible forwards. He's currently on the second line, and I do know that the Islanders roster is sort of depleted, and at some point in the season he was on the third line, but I think moving forward there is a chance he does play with Barzal. He's currently getting power play 1 minute, and he's recorded at least 3 shots and has played over 15 minutes in 4 of his last 5 games. He's just 21 years old with a really high ceiling, and there is potential we could see him with Barzal. All of these variables makes Oliver Wahlstrom a solid pickup for this coming week. The final must-add player for this video is Matt Boldy of the Minnesota Wild. He's a rookie forward, former 12th overall pick of the Minnesota Wild, currently one of the top prospects in the Minnesota system. He's recently been called up due to all the injuries to the Wild roster and has actually been pretty good. With 3 points in 3 games, he's played over 16 minutes per night and is skating with Kevin Fiala, who all of you know is a fan favorite here at FP. He has spent time between Power Play 1 and Power Play 2. Right now he's Power Play 2 now that Kaprizov's back and Zuccarello's back. He was over a point per game in his first pro season in the AHL, and he continued that success this year, scoring 10 points in 10 games. It's hard to anticipate what to expect from Boldy moving forward, but he is a top prospect with some pretty high scoring potential. I think it's worth it to ride out the opportunity for the young rookie in his first taste of NHL action. Jumping over for the players to drop for this week, we have John Klingberg of the Dallas Stars. This one's a really big surprise to me. I didn't think he was having this bad of a season, but when I looked into it, man was I wrong. 17 points in 30 games, which actually isn't bad, and I do think he's worth a hold in points leagues only, but in every other league, he's definitely worth a drop at this point. Minus 11 rating, and he's trending downwards considerably, playing under 20 minutes per night in 4 of his last 5 games, and he's currently on the third pairing with defenseman Thomas Harley. Heiskanen has stepped up, as we knew he was going to this season. He's the number 1 defenseman on the team, playing the first power play, playing over 24 minutes per night. Klingberg's time seems to be up with the Stars. He recently requested a trade, and I don't think I'm going to hold on to him, contingent that he does get traded. We don't really know where he's going to go. I haven't seen too many rumors. So at this point, it's worth it to drop Klingberg and pick somebody else up on waivers that can hopefully do a little bit better than he is. The other drop candidate for this week is Travis Konecny of the Philadelphia Flyers. Definitely much lower owned than Klingberg is, but I do still think he's worth a drop. He struggled this season quite a bit, 5 goals in just 35 games, a minus 9 rating. His shooting percentage is about half of what his career average is, so we can expect this to go up at some point in the season, but for right now, he's just not proving fantasy relevancy. The Flyers have been a disaster in terms of COVID. Many players have been out. I think Couturier is still out at this point in the season, so that definitely hurts the value for Konecny. He's still getting power play 1 time and is playing over 17 minutes per night, but in 4 of his last 5 games, his minutes have trended downwards to under 60 minutes per night. His shot volume's fine, but it's just not enough to justify holding on to him at this point in the season. The first player that I would recommend to hold is Pavel Francouz of the Colorado Avalanche, someone I recommended to pick up a few weeks ago. Hopefully you did, and make sure you're still holding him on your roster. As I was getting ready to make this video, it was announced that Darcy Kuemper left the game injured, meaning Francouz is likely to be the starter moving forward. Now, we don't know any timeline with Kuemper. It could just be a game-to-game thing, but at this point, with the contingency that Francouz could be starting most of the games for the Colorado Avalanche moving forward, it definitely means you should hold on to him, or if you dropped him, to add him right now. He's going to be playing quite a bit of games, and Colorado is just a really good team. Now, at this point, I don't really know if Colorado just has bad defense or if the goalies are just bad on the team, because both Francouz and Kuemper don't have flashy stats by any means. Nevertheless, goalies are super thin in fantasy, I find, this season, and picking up a goalie that's going to get a lot of starts on a really good team is definitely worth your while or worth it to hold. The next player to hold is Craig Smith of the Boston Bruins. Now, I recommended Smith a few weeks ago. There was a note that Pastrnak got moved down to the second line and Craig Smith was moving up to the top line. I really didn't know how long this was going to hold for, but it seems that it's come to fruition, and now Pastrnak is the set second line right winger. And Craig Smith has moved up, meaning he's playing with Marchand and Bergeron. Not much really needs to be said about the two, but Smith is now in the best opportunity of his career. A really high shot volume player, a former 20 goal scorer, now playing on the top line. If you drop Craig Smith, definitely pick him up. He's just 8% owned, meaning he should be available in some of your leagues. For those that picked him up, keep holding him. I have him in a few leagues, so I'm definitely going to stay true to him. He's still shooting at a pretty good rate, 10.4 shots per 60, ranking him 40th in the league. He has 4 points in his last 5 games, while playing over 14 minutes in 4 of those last 5 games. We're definitely Craig Smith fans here at FP, and if you own any shares of Craig Smith, continue to hold. That'll do it for our players to add, hold, and drop video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.